My job is to invite people up to the microphone. Who has a question for Dan? Can you come up?
I don't need the microphone.
Well, we're trying to get it on camera. So.
Oh. Smile, you're going to be on camera.
What exactly is your position on the building of that jail in Coxsackie? I mean, I've been following it and in some ways fighting it for quite some time. I understand that the maximum number that they think will be in that jail is 18. Now that supposedly came from the district attorney of the county. And I think I remember the time when that was told, not directly from him, but through one of the legislators at an open meeting. And others have studied this and think that perhaps it could be as low as 10. And this is at least partially because of the new legislation that was passed on the state. Yet, the latest from the county administrator, Sean Groden, is that it's going to be a 60-bed jail. Now that doesn't make any sense. So I'd like to know what your position is on that.
Okay, my position on the jail has been the same throughout the entire time. I think that given the new bail reforms, and we're not talking about if you like the bail reforms, okay? That's just, opinion question. They are. They have been passed, and we have to deal with the bail reforms the way they are. And we are not going to have as many people in jail as we would have before. And those numbers, we have to be realistic about. They're setting those numbers somewhere between 15 and 25. You have to have 10% over for the beds. So, at the max, we're talking anywhere, somewhere around 25 would be the max that they're saying. The jail is built far too big. It's an oversized complex that hasn't been redesigned for the numbers. What they're doing is they're taking pods, and they're adding pods, and they're taking pods away. And I'm not in favor of the design that they have. I'd like to see the jail stay in Catskill because most people with the new bail reforms will have to go back to county court. That's where your more serious crimes have to go to handle their court. And so we're going to incur more transportation costs. So in closing, I'm not in favor of the jail where it is or the size that it is. And I can tell you, if elected, I will continue with that the entire time. As a sitting sheriff, I will very vehemently propose that we resize that jail to a realistic size that we need and not a size that they want. We can't afford a palace. We have to afford what we need.
Anybody else? Did you say your name?
Barbara Lubell.
Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Good. I live in Palinville, and with some exceptions, I have voted for a Republican here and there, and I will vote for you in the next election. But when I drive around Palinville and other areas, I see all these signs for the guy who's running against you, and I hardly see any signs for you, and I just wonder, how do you get your get up and go to persevere in the light of this seemingly
Overwhelming
yeah.
rush. Okay, so part of what keeps me going is the fact that I am fighting a good old boys network. And that is bringing us all down. It is stopping progress in Greene County completely. We need, and it's not a right or left issue. That is not a right or left issue because it is crossing party lines. Everybody knows what happened up in Wyndham where they didn't file the paperwork, the Democrats, so that it's crossing over party lines. We need to stop fighting amongst ourselves and realize what it is we need to do to make change that will help us. And we have to have the courage of your convictions, and I've always had the courage of my convictions. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and I advocate strongly for it. As far as the signs, we haven't put any signs up because the sign law in Catskill actually doesn't allow you to keep doing that, and he's still doing it. There is a sign law in the village and the town of Catskill. And one of the things you have to do when you're the sheriff is you have to kind of know the law. And he has been breaking the sign law for the last 30 days. Those signs should have come down 10 days after the primary, and they have not. But that's okay. We continue to do the right thing. We take the high road, he can take the low road.
I wish you success.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Liam Singer.
How are you, Liam?
Good, how you doing? I was just wondering what your view is on the interaction between Village PD and the Sheriff's Office, if you think that it is in a good place, if you think there are improvements that can be made, and sort of where you think separations exist and where they two can help each other.
I think that there are tensions between the village PD and the sheriff's department, honestly. The chief, Dave Darling, was my boss in the BCI. He's a great person. I love him personally. I think he's an excellent person of good moral character, and I would have no problem working with him in great harmony. I would like to see the resources used and pooled so that we can make tax cuts and help each other. And you guys are very fortunate in the village of Catskill to have him, because he really, I worked with him for almost 9 years, and he is a good person.
Okay.